us. The administrator is here, and she is on her way down, I believe. We're going to ask her to say a few words first because she's on a tight schedule. She has to go back to this place called, is it Washington?
She's heading to New York.
Oh, New York. Yeah. They won't take me, but what can I say? So anyway, the administrator's here. Bob Nelson, the Massachusetts director for the SBA. Give him a round of applause. He's here. And with her is Seth, who is the New England Regional Administrator for the SBA. As you know, both Bob and Seth have been regular visitors to the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce. So we're very fortunate. June Black from Congresswoman Nikki Songs is here. Nikki is actually in traffic on her way here. We hope that she'll get here before we leave. And we have our local cable show will be taping this. And we also please the Eagle Tribune is here as well. And most important, we want to say thank you to the Cities Bank and all of you for coming, because this really is a big day. The importance of the administrator, first of all, small business is the lifeblood of American economy, and the SBA administrator speaks directly to the president. We are so honored that our SBA administrator is here. Come on.
Let me clear a microphone.
We have to talk on the microphone. So the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce is a 1,000 member Chamber of Commerce serving business and industry through the Merrimack Valley. We are the largest, most effective business network throughout the region, and Bob will tell you, Seth will tell you, that we do so much with the SBA. And every Thursday, we have our SCORE business councils. We do free business counseling to startups and all. But we couldn't operate without Bob and Seth. And I say that in all sincerity. I don't work for the federal government, so I can say what I want. But let me tell you, they truly are helpful and make a difference. We are so honored that you're here. We know you're on a tight schedule. They told us you'll be here all day and tomorrow as well. I'm only kidding. But the reality is this: we want to ask you to say a few words. And we have a diverse group here, and obviously there are more on their way. So please welcome the National SBA Administrator.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. May I just give you that? Listen, first of all, thank you so much for coming out. And with weather like this, well, I'm from Los Angeles, so maybe you're used to this, but I have quickly acclimated to Washington, D.C., I must say. I want to thank you so much for being in business and for building our economy the way that you have been. At the last cabinet meeting, the Secretary of Labor announced that we have now had 70 months of consecutive job growth. That's a national record. Our country has never experienced such continuous consecutive job growth. So I always get to assert at Cabinet that 2/3 of that job growth is coming from small businesses. And so when I took over the leadership of SBA, I was pleased to hear that my responsibilities were twofold. One is to do everything that I could to run an effective operation to support small businesses. And the second is to represent small businesses at Cabinet and across the country. So I'm here really to do two things. One is just to tell you a little bit about SBA, but mostly what I want to do is also hear from you, what your experiences are as business people, so that I can take that away and take that with us. We have an Office of the Ombudsperson who is there to help fight on behalf of small businesses with other agencies and departments. For example, one of the things that we learned when I came on was that some of the challenges businesses were experiencing weren't even at the federal level. They were more at the local level. And so in that regard, we said, well, let's start a program that we call Startup in a Day. And that program consists of us going to the National League of Cities and entering into a partnership and asking the cities, every mayor across the country, to put up an interface, a platform through which small businesses could get their permitting, their licensing, everything that they have to do, all in one site, interact with it, complete the forms, and get them all in a day. And I have to tell you that the Boston mayor was one of the first to sign that pledge with us. So really happy that the region has been doing great. Let me just say to you what a pleasure it is to be here with your Chamber of Commerce. You know, chambers are, at least for me as a former community banker, they were the place to go to, the place through which I was able to meet so many of my clients. And so I know the important role that you play each and every day, and I really want to thank you for your leadership. Well, it's true. It's the members that are driving the economy and moving everything forward. If you haven't had a chance to meet our team, I just want you to know that this is not just because I'm here, but Massachusetts and the Boston larger area in particular has been so strong in our SBA products, our loans. SBA has 3 services. One is counseling. We counsel small businesses. It's free counseling to small businesses through our small business, through our women's, through our veterans outreach centers, and through our SCORE partners, and through our own 68 district offices. You have the best district director here in Bob Nelson. It's true. It is so true. Yes. I've been traveling around the region, and I've been boasting that whenever we get into trouble or we lose a district director, we always borrow Bob from you for a little while. And he's such a good sport about
Make
it.
sure he comes back.
Well, he always does. He always does. The second thing that we do is that when small businesses need access to capital, some people have a wealthy uncle who can stand in for them and protect their loan. Through SBA, they have Uncle Sam. And so we step in as a guarantor on loans. And so when you come into a bank and you say you're marginally qualified, you may or may not be qualified, then you ask them to run you through SBA numbers, and sometimes that gets the bank closer to yes, because we guarantee on average about 75% of that loan if something defaults. So it's a really nice tool. And third is the contracting. That is for small businesses that have a variety of, whether you're selling food or flowers or tablecloths or media services. The federal government buys just about everything, from the Department of Defense to energy to education to health to the Department of Interior, agriculture. We buy everything. And so what we do at SBA is make sure that at least a quarter of that spend is spent with small businesses. And so our people are out there every day fighting for small businesses. So I'm here to report to you that I don't recall another time that we've been at these levels. My team tells me that we are now at historic levels for SBA lending. We've hit the record. On contracting, the mandate is 23%. We're at 24.99%. And on investments, we're at record level. So I want to thank you, because it's not our work, it's that you're driving it. You're creating jobs, you're needing access to capital, the bankers are coming and working with you, and it's all working. So it's no coincidence that we're at a bank.
In fact, let me tell you one thing that we do. When you mention access to capital, working with Bob and working with Seth on a regular basis, and I mean this in all sincerity, Michael, who coordinates our economic development programs, working with Will and Trudy and Mary Beth in our office, we've created a program called Access to Capital. And our banks and credit unions in the Merrimack Valley work. They actually work with our members, and we have a complimentary program where we invite all the banks and all the credit unions to come and meet with any company. They don't even have to be a member of the chamber to talk about financing opportunities. And it's worked so well. It's an annual program. We're very pleased that June Black with Congressman Songa's office is with us. We work closely together because we follow the example that you're giving us, because we want to put people back to work, and that's just one of our programs. But access to capital could not happen without, and I say this continually because it's absolutely true, without the strong support of the SBA. And we're ready to go to Washington to say that.
Thank you. Thank you very
They won't
much.
take
Well, I
us
think
long.
that deserves an applause, right? Thank you. Thank you. Well, anytime you can't find Bob, the regional administrator for the Eastern Shore is with us as well tonight. So we brought out the whole team today, and that's Seth Goodall. Thank you for being here. Thank you. He was one of your electeds very recently, and so we're happy that we're able to steal him away. But finally, let me just say to you that for small businesses that I've met across the country, one of the things that they say to me is that they're also looking for customers. And so I want to tell you that what we now know is that small businesses, no matter if it's 1, 2, 3, or 500 employees, what we understand is that the markets have changed dramatically. When I was growing up, I worked at a florist shop. And that florist shop was always concerned about the roses that were being sold across the street so that they could compete and do well. And now when I hear about that florist shop, they're competing with flowers that are coming in from Kenya and from Israel and other countries. And so it's a globalized marketplace. So I hope that when you think of SBA, you also know that we're there to help you understand that 95% of the world's consumers are outside, and how can we help you navigate safely through that journey? Because as soon as you light up your website now, you are engaged in international commerce. So we've been pushing hard to amplify our services. Our guarantee on an export loan is 90%. That's a big guarantee on a loan. And so we hope that banks get to yes a lot more quickly. But we have trade finance specialists, and we have a program that we just funded with the state of Massachusetts, which is called STEP, to get small businesses to meet businesses that they can work with, sell to or buy from, partner with, with our strategic allies around the world. And so our trade finance specialists are there to do that work. So we are pushing hard because we really want to see more trade. And we see in the retail business, we see how much is being sold to us. We want to make sure that we are not in a trade deficit, that we're in a surplus. And so we want to make sure that small businesses can partake of the trade that's available. So we're pushing hard. You may have heard in Congress, we're all pushing hard to pass what we call the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, because we believe that instead of having people say, well, we can't raise the minimum wage because it's too expensive, and I understand that as a small business person, I ran 3 businesses. But what I can say is we don't want to be competing with other countries that have lower and lower and lower wage standards, because then it's a fast race to the bottom. What you want to do is lift wages around the world so we can maintain our standard of living, and the TPP does that. So I'm really a fan of the TPP. It's the first time ever in the history of the U.S. that we have a small, medium enterprise chapter, an SME chapter, in a trade agreement so that small businesses are protected, their patents can be addressed, that they have a safe pathway for engaging with our strategic allies. And there's so many other benefits around labor standards and climate standards, environmental standards. So I hope that you'll engage in the conversation and learn more about it, and hopefully see your way to supporting the initiative.
Michael, talk about the Access to Capital program and talk about the Small Business Day program with Bob, and talk about the initiatives.
Okay, great. First of all, thank you again for joining us on behalf of the Chamber and our members. The Access to Capital program, I think as most of you know in the room, is the complimentary program the Chamber offers. We have 20 plus banks and credit unions on hand during that day to speak to the business owners about one of the biggest problems they face, which is access to capital. And that happens each year, happening in 2016. And our annual Small Business Day, we have Bob Nelson as the keynote speaker of that. And just a day to represent and to congratulate the companies on hand and the small businesses throughout the Merrimack Valley for the great work they do and getting jobs and getting helping the economy as well as a whole. So we just want to thank you again for coming out. And on behalf of the Chamber, and all of our members here, we just want to thank you for joining us here tonight. We want to thank Bob, Seth, and yourself for all the hard work and the entire SBA does for the Merrimack Valley and helping our economy grow. So thank you.
On behalf of the members, this is a plaque of appreciation.
That is
and
so
hopefully
nice.
you'll take that back
Thank
to Washington.
you so much.
And we know you're traveling around the country talking to small business. This is a nice chamber bag. You can put your mementos in that. So thank you very, very much. Bob or Seth, do you want to say anything about our small business opportunities? I know the administrators here. We want to tell you how honored we truly are. This is truly an opportunity. We know the small business is the heartbeat of the Merrimack Valley. We intentionally refocused our chamber to focus on small business. And throughout the Merrimack Valley, whether it be women in business, minorities in business, startups, veterans in business, we're working to encourage small business growth and expansion. And we could not do it without the SBA. And they'll tell you we have a 20-plus year record of working with the SBA. We've hosted years ago, the Small Business Day Annual Award Program. A number of the SBA award winners come from the Merrimack Valley, and new companies are being proposed, such as EJ's is one of the small business nominees. We also have a number of other companies. But the reality is that we recognize the importance of small business in America. We recognize the opportunities the SBA provides. As you mentioned, exporting as well. We've hosted about 19 trade delegations over the years. But we recognize how important your role is, and our members are here in appreciation of small business. Everyone here is a small business person, and we want to say thank you to our congressional leaders, Congresswoman Nikki Songus and Congressman Seth Moulton as well, because obviously so much is important on the national level. But we truly are amazed that you would come to the Merrimack Valley. This is a tribute to us in recognition of what you do for small business. So please give our administrator a round of applause. You sure you don't want to speak? Yes, absolutely.
Yes. I just want to say that one of the joys that I have as being the head of the SBA is to be able to honor you and to salute all the work that you're doing each and every day. And in that regard, I hope that you do recognize that we have 2 special opportunities, and I hope that you'll join us in this regard. One of them we call National Small Business Week. And what we do is we take 1 week in May. It's the first week in May because we're getting ready for Mother's Day, Father's Day, and graduations. So we call it Mom, Dads, and Grads. And what we do across the country is celebrate the contributions of small businesses. And so we hope that during that week that you'll join us in tweeting or putting out on your website or something, and just honor and join us in celebrating National Small Business Week. Restaurants are going to be putting out special menus, and we have all sorts of great activity. The second opportunity to honor you is what we call Small Business Saturday. And you all know there's Thanksgiving, and then there is Black Friday. So everybody goes to the big sales on Black Friday, and we try to get people to think about Small Business Saturday the day after. And so those are the two times where we really lift up what small businesses mean to our country, although I do it every day, of course. But at least I want you to know that those are two enormous lifts that we do. And finally, let me just say that one of the things that I've really enjoyed doing is making certain that we get more women into entrepreneurship and innovation. And so we launched a program that we call Innovator, but the last three letters are HER. And so we want more women to think about ways that we can solve society's problems, whether it's, a new shoe or a new way to do anything from cybersecurity to precision medicine to aeroponics. But the point is we need more women to be innovators and to create solutions for society's ills. And so we invite you to join us in Washington, D.C. for the Women's Summit. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have women convening and showing off their businesses and their innovations. And so those are three invitations we have out for you.
And we want to say thank you. And the Chamber has recognized all of your priorities. We have created a very important Women in Business program. We've also created, as I mentioned, a Veterans Assistance program, and we've created a Next Generation Leaders program to encourage those that are starting up. So we want to continue to move this economy forward. I want to recognize Rachel Callery. Rachel organizes. Come on, Rachel. Come on. Rachel organizes on behalf of the Savings Bank, and she's. They are the Women in Business Series sponsor, as a matter of fact, and so we want to get. We've asked Bob and Seth if we get a group photo. Is that all right? Okay. And by the way, Andrew, where did Andrew Flanagan go? Andrew is the town manager of Andover. Came here to greet you and say hello. Andrew.
Welcome to Andover. Madam Ambassador, welcome to Andover. It's certainly an honor for me to welcome you to our great community. Much of what Joe said is happening around the valley is also happening in Andover, part of the valley. I spoke at the annual Mayor and Managers Breakfast on Friday, and I said, this is the year of the downtown in Andover, because I think creating, a vibrant local economy is going to be key to the region and everything we're trying to collectively accomplish. So welcome and thank you.
Yes, one quick photo.